Have you ever looked at your bank account and felt a strange sense of guilt, even though the numbers were going up? You've spent years meticulously tracking every cent, watching your savings grow while your sense of adventure slowly shrinks. You feel a pang of anxiety every time you consider buying a premium coffee or booking a spontaneous weekend getaway. This is the scarcity trap, a psychological cage built from the very discipline that was supposed to set you free. Today, we're going to flip the script entirely. We aren't talking about saving more, we are talking about a mandatory spending limit. Welcome to the anti-budget game, where your only objective is to waste money on pure joy.
In this video, we're diving deep into a financial framework that sounds counterintuitive but might just save your mental health. I'm going to show you how to set a maximum guilt-free waste limit, a specific amount of money you are forced to spend every single month. By the end of this, you'll understand why spending is a skill you need to practice, how to confront your fear of self-indulgence, and why the best return on investment isn't always in the stock market, but in the experiences that make life worth living. Let's redefine what it means to be good with money. Most financial advice focuses on the no. No lattes, no vacations, no fun until you're 65. But for many high achievers and diligent savers, the problem isn't a lack of discipline, it's an excess of it. Traditional budgeting creates a mindset where every dollar spent on yourself feels like a failure or a step away from security. This constant restriction builds a layer of chronic stress that colors every purchase. If you've ever agonized over a $20 dinner upgrade despite having thousands in savings, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We need a new way to interact with our wealth. The anti-budget isn't about being reckless or ignoring your future. It's about recognizing that money is a tool for utility, not just a scoreboard for safety. When we focus solely on accumulation, we often forget the why behind our hard work. The scarcity mindset tells us there will never be enough, while the abundance mindset realizes that resource management includes the management of our own happiness. If you don't learn how to spend money on yourself now, you likely won't know how to do it when you finally reach your financial goals. Spending is a muscle that can atrophy if not used. So, what exactly is the guilt-free waste limit? It's a dedicated bucket of money, separate from your bills and savings, that has one rule: it must be spent by the end of the month. This isn't for groceries or rent. This is for waste, things that have no practical utility other than making you smile. Think of it as a reverse budget. Instead of trying to keep the number low, you are competing against yourself to get that balance down to zero. It's an intentional practice of decadence designed to break the psychological grip of extreme frugality. This is a game because it introduces a sense of play into a topic that is usually heavy and serious. By calling it a game, we lower the stakes of the decision-making process. You're not spending your hard-earned money, you're playing the game. This mental reframe is crucial. It allows you to experiment with different types of spending without the weight of permanent financial consequences. You're training your brain to associate spending with positive feedback loops, rather than the usual alarm bells of the scarcity mindset. Rule number 1 of the anti-budget is that this limit is a floor, not a ceiling. In a traditional budget, you try to stay under the limit. In the anti-budget, the goal is to reach the limit. If you have $200 in your waste fund at the end of the month, you have failed the game. This forces you to actively look for opportunities to enjoy yourself. You start asking, what can I do today that would be truly fun? Instead of, what can I afford to miss out on? It shifts your focus from avoidance to seeking. Why do we fear waste so much? For many of us, it's ingrained in our upbringing or a response to past financial instability. We view every dollar as a safety net, and cutting into that net feels like inviting disaster. But there is a point of diminishing returns. If you have an emergency fund and your retirement is on track, hoarding extra cash at the expense of your current quality of life is actually a form of life waste. You are trading the best years of your physical health and energy for a slightly larger number in a digital account. The anti-budget confronts this fear head-on. Guilt is the primary barrier. When you buy something unnecessary, a part of your brain screams that you're being irresponsible. The waist limit acts as a pre-authorization from your rational self to your emotional self. Since the money is already allocated and lost to the budget, the guilt has no ground to stand on. You've already decided that this money is for waste, so when you spend it, you are simply following the plan. It turns a moment of hesitation into a moment of execution. Choosing your waste category is the fun part. What brings you joy? For some, it's the upgraded version of daily life, buying the expensive organic berries or the high-end stationery. For others, it's purely experiential, concert tickets, a massage, or a cooking class. The key is that it shouldn't be useful. It shouldn't be a new vacuum cleaner or a set of tires. It has to be something that serves no purpose other than your own enjoyment. This forces you to confront the idea that you are worthy of things that are purely for pleasure. Prioritize experiences over physical assets whenever possible. Research shows that the joy from objects fades quickly due to hedonic adaptation, but the memory of a great experience actually appreciates in value over time. That fancy dinner with a friend or that weekend trip to a nearby town becomes a part of your identity. The anti-budget encourages you to collect memories rather than dust. When you're spending your waist limit on an experience, you're investing in your future happiness and social connection. I challenge you to try a 30-day anti-budget experiment. Pick an amount, let's say $50, $100, or $500, depending on your situation, and label it as non-recoverable. This money is gone. Your only job is to ensure it doesn't stay in your account. Throughout the month, pay attention to the resistance you feel. When you go to buy that wasteful thing, notice the tightening in your chest. That's the scarcity mindset trying to protect you. Acknowledge it, and then spend the money anyway. You are retraining your nervous system. We often suffer from the save for later habit. We save the nice wine for a special occasion that never comes. We keep the fancy outfit in the closet for a day we feel worthy. The anti-budget says that today is the occasion. By forcing yourself to spend your waist limit monthly, you stop deferring your life. You start living in the present. This doesn't mean you don't plan for the future, but it means you stop treating the present as a mere waiting room for a future that is never guaranteed. There is a massive difference between a quick dopamine hit and long-term joy. The anti-budget isn't about mindless scrolling through Amazon for random gadgets. It's about intentional spending. When you have a limit you must hit, you become more selective about your waste. You start looking for the highest quality joy. You might realize that 5 small coffees don't bring as much happiness as one incredible 3-course meal. You begin to curate your own pleasure, which is a sophisticated and rewarding skill to develop. Setting the amount is the most critical step. It needs to be a number that makes you slightly uncomfortable. If it's too low, it's just your normal spending. It needs to be enough that you actually have to put effort into spending it. For a chronic saver, spending an extra $300 on nonsense can feel like a mountain to climb. That discomfort is exactly what we're looking for. It's the sound of your old mental models breaking down. Choose a number that feels like a stretch for your waist muscles. Track your spending success just like you would track your savings. At the end of every week, check how much of your waste fund is left. If you're ahead and haven't spent much, you need to ramp up your efforts. Treat it like a deadline at work. If it's Friday and you still have $50 of guilt-free money, you are officially authorized to go buy that expensive book, that fancy bottle of olive oil, or that movie ticket. You are successful when the balance hits 0. What happens if you don't spend it? This is where the game gets real. You need a penalty. If you fail to spend your waist limit on yourself, you have to give that money away. But not to a charity you love. Give it to a cause you dislike. Or better yet, give it to a friend who is already great at spending money. The point is that the money must leave your possession. It cannot go back into your savings. This creates a use it or lose it pressure that forces you to prioritize your own enjoyment over your hoarding instincts. Consider the Friday night test. You're tired from a long week and you just want to stay in and eat toast, but you have $40 left in your waist limit. The anti-budget game pushes you out of your comfort zone. It encourages you to order the premium sushi delivery or go to that jazz club you've been curious about. It overcomes the inertia of exhaustion. Often, we don't spend because we're too tired to decide, but having a preset goal makes the decision for us. It leads to more interesting Fridays. The anti-budget is also a great tool for solo adventures. Many of us feel awkward spending money on a high-end experience when we are alone. We feel like it's wasted if there's no one there to see it or share it. But the most important relationship you have is with yourself. Spending your waste limit on a solo museum trip or a quiet afternoon at a botanical garden reinforces the idea that your pleasure is valid, even without an audience. It builds self-reliance and self-worth. You can also use the game to upgrade the mundane. We spend so much of our lives interacting with average things. Your waste limit can be used to replace your scratchy bath towels with plush ones, or your cheap kitchen knife with a professional-grade one. While these are objects, they improve the quality of your daily rituals. This is a subtle way to tell your brain every single day that you deserve the best tools for your life. It turns chores into moments of small luxury. There's a fine line between a financial safety net and a financial prison. A safety net is there to catch you if you fall. A prison keeps you from ever moving. If your net is so large that it's taking up all the space in your life, it's time to prune it. The anti-budget ensures that you are actually using the wealth you've worked so hard to create. Money left in a bank account when you die is simply work you did for free. The waste limit ensures you get your paycheck in the form of life experiences. The social aspect of this game is profound. When you are comfortable spending on yourself, you often become more generous with others. You can use your waste limit to treat a friend to lunch or buy a thoughtful, unnecessary gift for a sibling. This spreads the abundance. It changes the energy of your social circle from one of who owes what to one of let's enjoy this together. Generosity is an extension of the abundance mindset that the anti-budget helps you cultivate. The biggest hurdle you will face is the thought, I don't deserve this. This usually stems from a belief that we only deserve things if we've suffered enough or worked ourselves to exhaustion. The anti-budget challenges this directly. You don't spend the limit because you earned it today. You spend it because you are a human being who deserves to experience the beauty and flavors of the world. It detaches your worth from your productivity. You deserve joy simply because you exist. Reevaluating value is a core part of the process. You might find that some things you thought were luxuries are actually essential for your well-being, and things you thought were necessities are just habits. By being forced to spend on waste, you get a clearer picture of what actually moves the needle on your happiness. This information is more valuable than any financial spreadsheet. It allows you to build a life that is truly customized to your own values and desires. Let's look at a quick case study. Imagine a chronic saver named Sarah. Sarah saved 50% of her income but never felt rich. She started the anti-budget with a $200 waste limit. The first month, she felt sick to her stomach spending it on a fancy pottery class. By the third month, she was looking forward to her waste spending. She realized her anxiety about the future had decreased because she was finally enjoying the present. Her relationship with her money transformed from fear to partnership. This strategy also builds resilience against frugality burnout. People who try to live on a shoestring budget for too long often end up snapping and making huge, destructive emotional purchases. The anti-budget acts as a pressure relief valve. By allowing yourself small, controlled amounts of waste, you satisfy the human need for novelty and treat-seeking. This makes your long-term financial plan much more sustainable. It's the difference between a crash diet and a balanced lifestyle. The ripple effect on your career and energy is often overlooked. When you treat yourself well, you show up in the world with more confidence and vitality. You're not the person who is always grinding and miserable. You're the person who knows how to recharge. This often leads to better performance at work, more creative ideas, and a more attractive presence to potential partners or clients. Investing in your own enjoyment is, in a very real way, investing in your earning potential. As you reach the end of your first month, review the waste. Look back at the photos you took or the receipts you kept. Ask yourself, was it worth it? Most of the time, the answer is a resounding yes. You'll find that you don't miss the money, but you do cherish the memories. This review process solidifies the habit. It proves to your skeptical brain that the world didn't end because you spent some money on yourself. In fact, the world got a little bit brighter. The final mindset shift is this: money is meant to be a tool for living, not just a measure of survival. The anti-budget game isn't about being bad with money, it's about being excellent with life. You are the master of your finances, and you are choosing to use them to create a rich, vibrant existence. Don't let your fear of the future rob you of the beauty of today. Set your waste limit, play the game, and watch your perspective transform. You are worth every penny. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the anti-budget mindset. If you're ready to take the challenge, comment "I'm playing" below and tell me what your first guilt-free waste will be. I can't wait to hear about your experiences. If you found this perspective helpful, please hit that like button. It really helps the channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on how to master your money and your mind. Until next time, go out and waste some money on something beautiful.